Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC. This one, the Lions versus the Stormers. It's always a good day when it's a South African derby, and that is exactly what we have got here. And it isn't just one South African derby. There is another one taking place straight after this, the Bulls versus the Sharks. But for now, this is the way that the URC table does sit. The Stormers, they have played 10 games. They are starting to lose those extra games that they had in hand. The Lions still have a couple more, but either way, one of these two sides will be advancing quite nicely as we move towards the end of the regular season. The Bulls and the Sharks, they are close to each other. They're going head-to-head later on, like I mentioned. So one of those two teams get that little bit closer to a home quarter, maybe semi-final, depending on how the overall table goes. But looking through at the starting lineup, first of all, for this Lions team, it is going to be Schoeman, Botha, and Nalabakanye in the front row, Oosterhuizen and Landsberg in the locking duo with JC Pretorius. He's been a standout for the Lions, the way he gets over the ball, definitely from that Sevens experience of the past with Ruan Venter and Frankie Horn slotting in. As the number 8, Morne van den Berg alongside Lombard in the 10 jersey, Marius Lowe and Van Wyk make up the midfield with Edward van der Merwe, Richard Kriel, and Juan Horn as the number 15. Looking through at this Stormers starting lineup, they've got quite a few changes, and they are forever rotating with all the injury problems that they have had throughout the season. Alistair Vermaak, JJ Kotsia, and Frans Malharbe, the big man who hasn't really found his rhythm in his last few games, which is really weird to say because for so long, Frans Malharbe, he's dominated scrums, he's caused opposition's problems in that department, and lately he's given away a lot of penalties, so I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully this game we do get to see that same Frans that we do know and love. Selman Moura alongside Ruben van Heeren in the locking duo with Dion Foree, Ben Jason Dixon, and Evan Roos slotting in as the number 8. Herschel Yankees and Yuri Matia will be the 19 combo with Dan du Plessis alongside Similani in the midfield, and then Angelo Davids, Ben Loader. When that man gets ball in hand, you certainly know about it as he makes a huge amount of meters. And what a Calant at number 15. He's still struggled to find his consistency in that 15 jersey. I will admit some games he has a 10 out of 10, others he has about a 3, and he's going to need a big one here up against this tough Lions side. Looking through at the chat, we have got hi all, and Hamish says, Robert, welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. Hello, Hamish. Lions by 8 is a prediction from Andre, and kia ora everyone, says Matthew and the chat as well. But yeah, both of these sides relatively even when it comes to the overall rankings in the URC. I'm just going to have a quick look because honestly, like the Lions at home makes me think they would be favourite, but the Stormers side normally do get that little bit of a boost when it does come to the kind of odd side of things. So I wonder whether or not they will actually be favourites here or whether it would actually be the Lions. So Lions coming in $1.45 compared to the $2.65. So actually a relatively heavy favourite in that department. And maybe that is because of the absentees from the Stormers lineup. No Mani Libok for this game. No Damian Valimza. Honestly, you could go on about the players missing. Dion Foree in that forward pack not being there is a bit of a hit too. But this Lions side, one thing that they've been pretty good with throughout the season is just being consistently strong enough. And yes, they don't have those massive names like some of the other South African sides, but they've beaten those teams with those big names. So we have to wait to see whether they can do the same in this contest or not. But do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen. We are only around maybe 5 minutes away from the kickoff. And like I mentioned, 2 South African derbies taking place back to back. The next one, the Sharks taking on the Bulls, which is always must see. Sharks look like they have a Curry Cup team, but I still hope they win, says Andre. Yeah, like that's the thing. They've been plagued almost more with injuries than the Stormers, and that's saying something because the Stormers team, like I said, changing a lot throughout the last few weeks with all of the players that are going in and out. And Curry Cup, my bad, says Andre. But yeah, like they've put together a team with what they've got. And I think they've got some ridiculous number, like over 15 injuries at the moment, and it does just show that as they play more rugby in all these different competitions, it does wear on the body. Eventually it catches up with them, and it does seem like that's hitting the Sharks at the moment. The Champions Cup, the Challenge Cup, all of these European comps, and it's really testing out the squad depth for these South African sides. Luckily, most of them are still doing relatively well table-wise. Like I mentioned, the Sharks sitting in 4th in the overall standings, which is more than an improvement compared to what we saw last year where they were sitting relatively close to the bottom. But they've started well, and they should be, even with the troubles that they're having with injuries, they should still be right in the running for those quarterfinals, as we're already up to really the business end of the comp, and it doesn't even feel like it's been going that long in terms of the amount of rounds that we've had. But yeah, it will be very interesting to see how they do match up. But for this game, the Lions, their most recent game was on the 26th of January. They took on the Bulls. They were defeated 35 points to 22. Prior to that, they were in the Challenge Cup, and they successfully made it through to the next stage. A great win over the Dragons, 60 points to the 10. Then for the Stormers, they've had a couple tough games up against other European sides, losing to Racing as well as Leinster 36 to 12. But they were very, very close up against that Bulls side, and honestly, I think they should have won. Decision making, they made a couple crucial errors in that last contest, took place just last week, so that'll be fresh on their mind. But the benefit that they've got is the Lions haven't played for about 2.5 weeks, if not a little bit longer, closer to 3 weeks now. So this is where you can kind of catch them off guard and give them a good run for their money. They will be in action next week, though, I should mention. They have got the Bulls. Everyone's playing the Bulls at the moment. Guess what? The Stormers, they're playing the Bulls in 14 days. I don't know where the Sharks are in all of these upcoming fixtures, but they seem to be missing out because the Bulls have everyone. But yeah, a couple big games coming up. Bulls and then Bulls for these two teams as well. G'day, all Lions by 1 or more, please. Ideally more than 1, I think, just to give them a little bit less of a heart attack, because we've seen so many close games over this weekend, particularly Super Rugby. I mean, 45 to 44 is not a score that I thought I was going to be going to sleep and waking up to see for that Western Force versus Moana Pacifica game. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't get to watch that one, because now I've got something to watch tomorrow that I can look through, and seems like I'm going to enjoy it with how back and forth that game was. Even if the Sharks beat the Bulls, they will stay in 4th position, says Andre. That is true, but they will, in some regards, give themselves a bit of security, because there is that little bit of a gap that can form as they play a couple more matches. If the Lions are able to get themselves a win over the Stormers, or the Stormers win this game, they're pretty much destined for that top 8. And then in the Lions' case, they've still got that game in hand, so that will help push them that little bit further up too. Have the South African teams played their Springboks players much this year? A little bit. Like, it depends on when the games are taking place. But overall, injury, of course, forgiving, they have been. They've had a few of those South African internationals in there. The Sharks, they had quite a few up until those injuries do start to hit. In terms of the training camp that's coming up for Rassi, though, he's got quite a few of these guys who are in these starting lineups getting that chance. And after game, mate, often, I'm going to read that again because I absolutely butchered that. Enjoy the game, mate. Off in rain again to work, says Dennis. So hopefully it does clear up a bit more for you. Yeah, definitely didn't struggle as much to read it the second time when we slowed down and actually read the words. Fun fact, that helps with reading. You just look at what the person says, and then you have a lot more chance of getting it right. But they are just showing the starting lineups once again, only a couple minutes away. It looks like an overcast day at the Emirates Airline Park. There still should be some great running rugby taking place. First round of Super Rugby has just happened, so it'll be nice to see the differences. But a lot of the common denominator of comment that we got throughout that weekend of Super Rugby, there's quite a few people missing those South African sides. But looking through at the starting lineup, Schoolman, Botha and Nalabakanye as the front row, Oosterhuizen and Landsberg in that locking duo. I'll be honest, Landsberg's really impressed me throughout this season. He's just a gritty, grindy kind of player who will put in the big hits, who will take them as well, and every once in a while just does something miraculous in that line-out that can help give the Lions the advantage. JC Pretorius, Ruan Fente and Frankie Horn is there as the number 8. Morne van den Berg and also Lombard will be the 19 combo. Marius Lowe and Henko van Wyk at number 13. And then Edwald van der Merwe, he is slotting in there as their option out on the left wing. Richard Kriel out on the right. And then Juan Horn at number 15. But it looks like for the Stormers, Frans Malherbe is going to lead his side out onto the field that is because of a milestone game. And like I said, he hasn't really found his rhythm the last few games, so hopefully we get to see it here. Big France, we know how dominant he can be, but honestly, that Springboks tight hair prop jersey, I hate to say it, but it's never looked so open with the way that he's been playing just as of late. He looks, in the nicest way possible, a shadow of himself, but 150th appearance. The age is starting to catch up with him a little bit. Few injuries of the past have started to, in some regards, slow him down. So hopefully he's going to go well in this milestone game. But Alistair Vermaak, JJ Klitsia, and of course Malharba in their 3 jerseys. Samamura alongside Ruben van Heeren slotting in as the number 5. Dion Foree, Ben Jason Dixon, and Evan Ruis will be there as the number 8. Herschel Yankees and Yuri Matia, the 19 combo, found moments of success in their last contest up against the Bulls, but still want to really shore up that 19 channel. Dan Duplessis and Similani as the midfield combo, and then Angelo Davids, Ben Loader, and Warwick Hillant at 15. I mentioned about it. Hillant's one of those guys. You're either going to get a 10 out of 10 performance or you're going to get about a 3 out of 10, but nothing less than a 9 would be substantial in a contest like this up against another South African team. The last thing you want to do is give up those possible points. We have got there, enjoy the game, mate. And also got my lollies next to me and some chips to go with the beer, says Matthew. And also I missed it all, what happened with the Chiefs and Crusaders. Did they win their games? So, in fact, both of them did, yes. Chiefs getting the win over the Blues, Crusaders getting the win over the Hurricanes. So 2 New Zealand derbies, of course, already taken place. Now we're on to the South African ones, just to enjoy just the world of rugby in general. Plenty of rugby taking place. We have got there Franz Malharba shadow. You can block out the sun, says Grant. And we have got there blown sideways, says Wenmar. Yeah, they mentioned about it before. The rain has disappeared for now, which is great news for this contest. Hopefully that is the case throughout the whole of the match, but it means that there will be a little bit of slipperiness out there on the field, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully nothing too serious in that regard. But we're ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Angelo Davids near the touchline. Juan Horn will be the man who kicks us off. We are ready to go for the URC yet again. Kicked high, and Henko van Veek manages to slap it back onto the Lions side. With Morne Vandenberg, the man who's managed to claim it. Now PJ Water going across, quick hands here from the Lions, and they are looking like they're focused from the get-go, which is exactly what you want to see from a side sitting at 11th. They know how much ground they can make up. And just so you know, Hamish, your backup stream is ready, says Grant, so that is great news. TVNZ here in New Zealand, though, this time, they've decided they will actually show the game that they said they would, so that is ideal. But it is much appreciated, of course. Did you bother going to bed before this, or just stay up? I went to bed and maybe got like an hour's sleep if I'm lucky. It wasn't a huge amount. That's a nice kick from Morne Vandenberg. In fact, it was close to a 50-22. But I believe it will be the Stormers line-out, but a great start to the match for this Lions side. Put in a few phases together and then forcing the opposition back just to apply that little bit of extra pressure. But yeah, I tried to sleep. Missed a blinder of a game by the looks of it between Moana Pacifica and the Western Force. Always seems to be the case. I have never missed a game in Super Rugby that hasn't been outstanding. Every time I go and look at the score afterwards, I'm always disappointed that we didn't cover it, but yeah, I would say in about 15 hours time when I'm still awake, that like 1 hour of sleep might actually be the only thing keeping me going. Now, I've been told to use it once. Line out successful for the Stormers. Herschel Yankees going off to the short side, off to Angelo Davids. He's ended up extending the forearm almost towards Morne Vandenberg. Has to be careful doing that. Now, the turf's already been ripped up. That wasn't even a scrum. That was just a rolling maul, but there is dirt everywhere and clumps of grass as if a bad golfer's been on it, and he's missed the ball 20 times. That one's going to go into touch. And a bit of a mistake there from Richard Creel, trying to slightly avoid catching it, thinking it was going out, but did end up getting something on it. And now the Stormers have got the line out 40 metres out. Hamish, how was your Valentine's Day? Any hot dates there? None at all, no. I was streaming pretty much throughout Valentine's Day and prepping for the next live streams. So, yeah, not a lot going on there. And by the way, hello to all. Are you still up, says Spider Mick? Welcome in, Spider. Hope you are doing extremely well. 2 minutes into this contest at the moment. And the Lions are looking focused, which is exactly what they need to be in this case. JJ Coetzee ready to throw this ball in nicely for the Stormers off to Evan Ruiz, and that is a brilliant tackle made by Horn. Now, Yankees will go with the high boot down towards the 22 here. Well claimed by Richard Creel, trying to step his way around, and Salman Mura with a good solid shot. Both of these sides already showing physicality. You can see why the injury lists are so high for these teams when they smack each other around when they're playing week in, week out. 40 metres from their line. Morne Vandenberg off to Nalabakanye. The big man should not be able to move like he does, but he seems to make it look easy. All bit of a slip there. Not ideal for Lombard, and it has given the ball away to the Stormers on the halfway line. Chipping in behind was Dan Duplessis. Maybe got a little bit too much on it. It's in the in-goal area, and they'll go back for the original penalty. Did you ever play Jonah Rugby? Jonah Lomu Rugby. Rugby 25 is disappointing. It is. I've said it already. Rugby 25, best game visually that we have seen rugby-wise. But the gameplay is rubbish, unfortunately, and I wish it wasn't, because I wanted to do career modes, I wanted to do all sorts on that game, but sadly it's just, they've spent so much time getting those face scans right and not enough time actually concentrating on how to make it playable. But, you know, we'll see how it goes, of course, whether or not it can improve. Well, we will go like this. We will go like that as well. There we go. Right, 22 metres out from the line now. It's going to be the opportunity for the Stormers. I don't think either of these sides, yes, they'll take the threes if they are absolutely simple, but these two sides will be interested in tries. 4 will get them the bonus point. And that is the bare minimum I think both of these sides want. John Dobson just looks tired, to be honest. The Stormers side has given him quite the headache over the last few months. Missed out on the Champions Cup. Down on the Challenge Cup. That Challenge Cup is stacked, by the way, when it comes to South African talent. Brilliant offload from Similani. Didn't even realise he got that one away. But the Lions, they've managed to get themselves the turnover and the penalty as well for good measure. And I'm for a tight game to see how the new Bok call-ups fare, says Robert. Yeah, 57 is the size of the squad that Rassi's decided to put together for a training camp. All I'm going to say is, like, Rugby 25, they can only put 50 in a squad. So Rassi's causing problems for those ones as well who are trying to make their teams. Of course, that eventually will get dwindled down to only the regular squad size. But it's good to see that he's giving so many players a chance. And it just shows them that at URC level, people are watching. Every once in a while, if you have a good game, you might get that eventual call-up to train with the box. And then all it takes is one injury or one poor bit of form for one of the experienced guys, and you're in. That's going to be not straight from the Lions on their 22. You can't afford that. You have to make sure you're getting it right. PJ Boata is not happy about that decision too much watching Super Team. Where were you? Says Spider Mick. Too much watching Super Team. Are you talking to me, I assume, in terms of that last game? I did say on the Blues Chiefs one that we were going to be missing that one, but it looks like it was an absolutely awesome game. About, I think it was 89 points scored throughout that 80 minutes, try scoring fest in the second half. Best thing, or the sensible thing the Stormers can do now, is just abandon the season and let the players rest for the Rugby Championship and Curry Cup. Yeah, although it is hard to do so when there's the pressure of a big competition. Like Champions Cup wise, it's good in a way that they aren't in there. Challenge Cup, they'll be able to use a few more different players. But the problem is, if you're in a competition like that, some coaches will still have the mindset, like we haven't seen it for Jake White, for instance. Challenge Cup wise, he won't care. Like, it's either a time to try out those new guys or it's like not that important for him. But for the likes of John Dobson, he'll see that as an opportunity to get a trophy, in which might be tough to do for the URC season because of that list. Where's Labok? Getting a massage, says Rufy. He's missing from this game anyway. That's going to be kicked out by the Lions. A lot of pressure coming on. Territory-wise, they haven't been able to get out of their own half for a little while. But the Stormers also are yet to get themselves try on the board. So that is also beneficial for the Lions. It's like a decent-ish home crowd. Of course, a few empty seats, but then the rain always scares quite a few people away, or at least it normally would. Now, Stormers again with this line out, thrown in nicely to the front. Going across to the left-hand side. Here comes Ben Loader. You normally need two men to make a tackle on him. JC Pretorius. He's done well to hang on to the boot and just not let go. Now going off to the left-hand side. Salman Murat. Not too far away from getting that one big break here. Another penalty advantage. This time going the way of the Lions for a player leaving his feet. Yuri Matia. He puts the ball through the legs of Ben Jason Dixon. Not on purpose. It's just how it worked out. But that is going to be another penalty going against the Lions. And it seems like now the referee's starting to have a bit of a chat with Marius Lowe. Going, listen, mate, that's a lot in the first 8 minutes. Any more of those? Well, hopefully not quite the stage of any more of those. Someone's going to the bin, seeing as we are only 8 minutes in. But this time, we're going to see it there. Yeah, Yuri Mateo actually almost headbutted Ben Jason Dixon in the lower groinal region. And that pizza sounds yummy, says Matthew. Parmesan, ham, feta cheese, rockets, figs, and sweet chili. Sounds like a real mixture on that pizza. See, I'm a pretty basic boy. Normally it's just like cheese and a bit of meat of some sort. But that sounds like something that you get a lot of flavour profiles all in one go. An absolute mouthful. But now, 5 metres out from the line, I talk a lot of rubbish when I'm tired. I will apologise for that right now. You're going to hear weird sentences all throughout the evening. But they've gone and gotten driven into touch there. The Stormers, just a little bit too close to the sideline and well defended by the Lions again. Is there a gorgeous pizza I don't know about? Yeah, that was a gourmet pizza. Delicious, says Ruth. And hi from Ovoga. Hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. Now the Lions, though, 5 metres out from their own try line. It's going to be hard work getting out of here. Hamish does not do flavour, says Grant. Yeah, I'm a very basic individual. Like, if someone, it sounds sad, but like if someone gives me a plain chicken breast with nothing else, I'd be like, okay, I don't mind it. I don't know where that comes from, but just plain salt and pepper, all you need. I'm very boring. I was going to say, finally, some northern action, but it's the Southern Lions. Says Sebastian, neutral taste. Yeah, I guess so. Just a stock standard. I like a few things, dislike a few. Nice run from Similani. I like that one, and he's going to get slammed to the turf for his troubles, and the Lions steal it back. They've been relentless just out from their own line, and they have taken a lot of stick from the Stormers forward pack in terms of the big hits coming in. And best start Stormers have had in 2025. I don't know. Well, best start territory and position wise, but they haven't been able to score. So, like, defensively, I think this is one of the best starts we've seen for the Lions, if that makes sense. But, like, the Stormers, they look like they're destined to get a try very soon. But every time they almost get there, the Lions just go, no, we'll get that back, thanks. And have a snack of some bacon and eggs with mushrooms and tomatoes at halftime. See, in my case, if I was going to have that, I'd have it without the mushrooms and the tomato. So just bacon and eggs. But that's because I'm extremely basic and boring, as we've established. Evan Ruiz going to now get driven backwards and stolen. JC Pretorius got it. This Lions side have come to play, ladies and gents. They came in as favourites, and you can see why. That's a rough pass, as I say that, but nice pick up from Kwan Horn. Passes on the outside. Richard Creel just getting ankle tapped, having to move back infield. Now Henko van Wyk, held up by Evan Ruiz. Goes to ground. Referee is not going to give him the penalty for that one. Nice short pass, beautiful offload, and drop by the big man Landsberg. This is not a play-on scenario. It's either a knock-on or it's accidental offside. It could be either. And we have got there, Matthew. That sounds awesome. Now from Bogota. Oh, okay. This sounds like Evan Rus is getting called over here. I think the referee's just going to say to him, listen. Yeah, there we go. Evan Rus getting the normal telling off from the ref, telling him pretty much, you're talking to me like I'm not the ref. Yeah, don't talk to me like that. Thank you was the comment from the ref. I can't wait to have that. Says Matthew, and Stormers showing early signs of pathetic play. They will lose with this kind of poor play, says Peter Williams. Yeah, the fact that they've had so much chance inside of the Lions 22, yet they just haven't been able to get their way forward and score that try. It is a little bit concerning. But I also do think eventually that chance is going to lead to that try. It's just Lions have been up for the task in the first little while, which has been great. It's led to very entertaining rugby throughout the first 12 minutes of this contest. Of course, there is another South African derby taking place straight after this one, Sharks versus Bulls. Rua's manhandled there, and then Bulls stripped from him by JC, says Eric. And we have got there, as it unethical to refund a game without even trying it. Honestly, I don't think anyone would blame you for Rugby 25. Like, yes, it's unfortunate that, like, they wouldn't get your money, but at the same time, it's just, like, but the problem you've got, Sebastian, is worst case scenario, like they did for early access going on to the full release, they might up the price again when they give a couple more updates. So in that case, you've made an investment per se, but, yeah. It depends if you got it. Did you get it in early access or did you buy it afterwards? Because pretty much, yeah, early access came out and then they added $30 on top of that. We have got there, a rand is 110 for 3 litres at tops, says Wenma. Nicely claimed by Landsberg. Now the Lions, nice little pop pass up to Edward van der Merwe, finds himself a little way off his wing. Morne van der Merwe goes to Landsberg. Offload to Henko van Wyk. Brilliant offload from the big man. Terrible tackle attempt from the Stormers, but eventually Gelant has been able to drag him down. That's going to be an advantage, and that might be cynical, unfortunately, for Wada Gelant there. Okay, the time was off, they've said, but I think this is a yellow card for Wada Gelant, and I don't necessarily think he completely did it on purpose, but sadly, after making the tackle, he lost his balance and fell towards the Lions' backline, which pretty much meant that he blocked them from joining the breakdown, and he is now off the field for the next 10 minutes. This is the chance that the Lions need. Morne van den Berg, I disagree with this choice here. They're going to go with the 3. That's leading the Stormers off. They missed a couple tackles. They look rattled. I think that 3 might just give them the time that they need to be able to regain their composure, and also will just push themselves up that field that little bit more. Yep. The Lions coach was not happy with it. Jacques Fourie. Now Lombard lining up this kick. And it has gone over. So that'll make the score now 3-0 in favour of the Lions. But once again, I just wonder, is that the best choice? You had them rattled. They were under pressure. Could there have been more done? And Gelant nailed for a professional foul there. Stopped a clear try, says Eric. Adelaide Six Nations not today. So pretty much they do have rest weeks in the Six Nations. So this is a rest week. Then we've got a week on. Then I think it's another week off where we see a bit more of the URC. In fact, we do see the URC taking place while the Six Nations is on as well when it comes to South African derbies. Now kicked off by Yuri Matia. He has got a lot on that one, but it's going to have a stiff bounce and doesn't go dead. Nice sell of the dummy from Morne van den Berg to send Ben Loader the wrong way. 3 points on the board. The Stormers are back under pressure. Like I said, I feel like I would have liked to see a scrum or maybe something close to the 5 metre line of the opposition, put them under pressure, maybe even get them another warning. And is it still a law to not kick off into the goal area while Lions clear it? Says Studs Ray. Ooh, is that a thing still, or did they get rid of that one? I can't actually remember, to be honest with you. It's one of those laws, though, that if it is still a thing, certain teams do seem to forget. And we'll keep the game and hope that the upcoming one will make it more decent, says Sebastian. Yeah, and at the end of the day, worst comes to worst, which I know it's not what a rugby game is for, but like simulated games, once they improve gameplay, could be quite cool with the faces or like the career mode. Because at the moment for Rugby 25, I'm considering doing a career mode where I don't actually play, but instead I just literally do it as a coach. An upcoming update, says Sebastian. And I know you play cricket. What other sports do you like? I mean, rugby's probably the other obvious one. Honestly, those are my big two. Like in terms of other sports, like I don't mind playing a bit of golf. Not so much watching golf. I get sick of that pretty quickly. Looks like now the Stormers, they have actually won a penalty of their own and they will go for the 3 points here. This is 40 metres out. The Lions, they might be kicking themselves a little bit here. I don't know whether that's... Yeah, cats can kick themselves in the head. I've seen my cat. He did it in the past. Very weird how they can do it, but when we try and do it, it doesn't work very well. Now, kick for Yuri Matia. See how he goes. Off the tee for the first of the day. It looks like it's going away to the side a little bit, but it has gone over. Had a bit of a left to right curl. Still through the post, and that is now 3-3 between these two sides. Crowd happy with that one. Definitely the travelling fans have made it all the way over to watch this game. 5 minutes, 50 remaining of that yellow card of Warwick-Calant. So I don't think that the Stormers side will want to be doing too much defending from inside of their own half. Kicked off high, JC Pretorius trying to get it. And in the end, Edward van der Merwe got a hand to it. Knock-on advantage in favour of the Stormers. Now Yuri Matia finds himself playing half. Women Indigenous All-Stars far better than the men. Maori women are lost because Ref and TMO go against them. Sad, says Spider Mick. You see, I almost halfway forgot that those games were taking place. Like, I know that they were mentioned before, but when I first woke up after sleeping for like an hour, the first thing I looked up was that Super Rugby score, and was certainly not disappointed in terms of the amount of points that were scored in the second half. They are just showing their Herschel Yankees, a lot of experience under his belt. Going to be so important for the Stormers as the season does go on. Of course, they've got the likes of Paul de Vet, but I do think that Yankees, when he's playing well, is such a key player in the Stormers camp. Thrown to the front, nicely claimed by the Lions. Morne Vandenberg. There's actually an advantage here as well. I believe that is a penalty advantage rather than a knock-on one. Short ball to PJ Buota, tackled by his opposite, JJ Kurtzia. Now, out wide, Kjuan Horn manages to break through Similani. Inside ball to Morne Vandenberg. How many times has he scored a try like that throughout the season? And he's done it again here. Great finish for the Lions and that support run of dreams for Morne Vandenberg. They will be more than happy with that one. And just a missed tackle from Similani left a gap wide open for the Lions to be able to run through. Yeah, just drifting wide, and then no option for Ben Loader but to sit there. And fair play to him, because he could have put in a massive hit on Kjuan Horn, but instead slightly pulled out of it as he saw Kjuan making the pass. And who won the Indigenous All-Stars and Maori men's game, says Matthew. I do not know. I assume Spider Mech does, but I assume far better than the men for the Indigenous side of things. I'd assume that the Indigenous All-Stars... Oh, no, actually, from his comment, it's very hard to tell, isn't it? And I've seen the highlights mate by us called. And also, we've got the hello Hamish, says JD, welcome in. But great finish from Morne Vandenberg. Pace for days. And once again, showing why he should be in that, at least, conversation for the upcoming Springboks selections. Of course, we're still a few months away, but, you know, it's coming. It's coming very quickly. Already halfway through February. It feels like yesterday it was New Year's Day. But now, Yuri Matia. Kick this one off. They're just talking about that Herschel Yankees match. Are they talking about his match win and try? Herschel Yankees? I think they were. Oh, no, sorry. They're talking about Morne Vandenberg, I think. Which try... Oh, what game was that for Herschel Yankees where he scored that last-minute try, ladies and gents? I'm sure Springbok supporters will be able to tell me. You know that one that was... Was it in a World Cup that he got that one? Maybe. There's a special try for Herschel Yankees that I can't quite think of which game it was, but did score it. Māori females lost by 2. What about the men? Anyone know about that one? Now, it's going to be a bit of an awkward rolling maul here. I'm not actually too sure who's ended up with this ball. I think the Stormers, yep, now they have popped it out the back. Evan Russ, good attack and run. JC Pretorius muscling up with him, though. It seems like he has been given the task of trying to get that ball off Evan Russ. I didn't watch the men, says Matthew. Now Herschel Yankees goes across to Frans Malharba in his 150th game. Counter ruck coming from the Lions, but it's popped back out on the side of the Stormers. Oh, nicely stolen again from the Lions. They've got really good stealing ability, and the Stormers seem to have very poor ball security. That was a try against New Zealand to draw the game 16-all, says Grant. Now rolling it back, Pijabuta going across to the right-hand side. Kuan Horn runs it himself. Another gap opens up. He's had a great start to this contest. He's got Morne Vandenberg on the inside. Little pop pass up to Henko van Wyk. They will not catch that man. Brilliant job from the Lions. Just counter-attack after counter-attack. And this is getting ugly for the Stormers. One man disadvantage. And it's heavily costing them here, who got home from the Force Moana game. What a game. So in the end, the Western Force managed to get the job done. But honestly, it could have easily gone either way. Moana Pacifica, they'll be disappointed to not have been able to walk away with the win. But great. It's just really classy running from Kuan Horn. The way he's changing direction is causing all sort of problems inside to Morne Vandenberg, just like the last try, but this time they added the extra move after that, which was one more pass, and it led to the try for Henko van Wyk, but the kick has gone over as well, now making the score 17 points to 3. Dream start for the Lions here, but they held off, and they managed to withstand the early pressure that the Stormers were creating, and then from here, just having that man advantage has proven extremely handy for them. I don't know how Kuan Horn ended up going face-to-face, though, with Ben Jason Dixon defensive line-wise. That is definitely a bit of a blunder from this Stormers team. But unfortunately, when you're missing your fullback as well, it's just going to leave a lot more space than you would like to. John Dobson looking frustrated. The Lions coaches looking pretty happy with themselves at the moment. Only 24 minutes in here. Now going to be kicked off by the Stormers deep into Lions territory. Charged down by Herschel Yankees, but it's it straight up for Kuan Horn. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck, and that's what the Lions are riding with at the moment. Here comes Evan Ruiz. He's going to build up steam. A little bit anticlimactic, that run. I will be honest, though. He's got up and gone again, and now he's dropped the ball, giving it straight back to the Lions. Kicked him behind from Morne Vandenberg. Idwell van der Merwe chasing after it. Gelant tries to leave it, to let it go into touch, but it stays in play. And now Idwell van der Merwe over the ball. No, what's that? Hands down first for Ruan Venter, in fact it is. And our girl tried to charge down and penalised her for it. I'm confused. That's the game, the Indigenous All-Stars. And how about the Warriors, mate? Where's that scoreline come from? Me Raiders aren't looking or doing too good, says JD. Yeah, although pre-season's one thing. It's when you get into the actual season, that's normally the decider for the Warriors. And they also know a thing or two about the officiating interesting calls. But last 5 penalties conceded, 3 of which have been against the Lions. Stormers haven't conceded one since that yellow card of what a Gelant, yet they find themselves in a position of being down by 14. Which just seems like it's come from nowhere. Just 2 quick-fire tries. The Lions, looks like Salman Murat just trying to get that boot back on. Honestly, that's one of the hardest parts when you're one of those big forwards Definitely when the legs start to get tired, the foot doesn't want to slide in nicely. Yeah, NRL is protecting the kicker hard. Any touch of a kicker's leg when they're off, balance is penalty, says Studs Ray. Stormers supporters in the stands, not looking as happy as the Lions one just at this point, but one thing that we've learned about the Stormers is they are capable of a comeback. This is one of those games that they'll certainly want to be in the running by halftime. They won't want to be down by 14. Instead, maybe down by 7 or less would be the way to go. I'm not really into rugby league. It's fun to watch occasionally, says Matthew. See, I'm a bit the same. Like, I wouldn't say I dislike league. It's just anytime there's rugby union on, that normally takes my priority. But, like, if there's no rugby union on, I'll watch league happily without too much trouble. Like, State of Origin, I think, is still the one that always, like, I will make time to watch. Now, ready to throw this one in, JJ Coetzee. Nicely taken by Ruben van Heeren. Yankees goes across to Yuri Matia. And now short ball to Evan Roos. They're really targeting him throughout this game. And maybe that is why his run from the back wasn't as fast as it normally is. Now, nice short ball, Ben Loader. That looked forward, and Ben Jason Dixon has dropped the ball again. These are coach killer errors that we are seeing here from the Stormers team. Hi, Amish and everyone. Sorry I'm a bit late. Quick summary, please. So, the Lions had all the attack throughout the first 10 minutes, but every time the Lions were able to just make that important tackle or get that important turnover, that then stopped them from being able to score. Lions have had 2 great counter-attacking tries during the time where Wada Kalamp was sent off with a yellow card for a cynical infringement just out from his line. And other than that, the Lions have looked like the more dangerous side just throughout the first 26 minutes. Every time that they get the opportunity to rip that ball away, they've done it brilliantly. And a lot of the time it's led to a counter-attack as well. Hopefully that was a good enough summary. And can't wait for the Bull Sharks game. Going to be epic, says Ronnie. Yeah, a couple great games on today. Like, honestly, this weekend of rugby has been awesome so far. Super Rugby, none of the games were split by more than 11 points. And even that game that was split by 11, not many people would have predicted it, as it was the underdog that won it by the 11. Other than that, every game just close. Going down to the wire, 2 1-point games in Super Rugby 2. The URC, honestly, it's going to bring plenty of excitement by the looks of it as well from those first couple games of the round we've already seen. Grew up in League Town, so played League until I was now 9th in Union, but I love both games, but I only get up at 2 a.m. for Union. Nice. That is a very familiar sentence for any time those internationals are taking place in the north. Like, for us, we're always up covering them. As you guys will know, you guys have been here for those November internationals last season. Little chip and behind from Watercaland. Nicely taken out wide for Angelo Davids. Gets the offload on the inside to Similani. He did have to pass that, but he hangs on to it. And now stolen by Kieran Horn. Bad decision from Similani. Leads to the turnover. And he is frustrated about it too, because he knows that that one needed to be passed. And what a bad year for the Stormers, says Adrian. And perfect, thank you, says Lilia B. Good afternoon, matey, says JD there too. But already 28 minutes through this matchup. It is, in fact, all the rugby this weekend has gone fast. I don't think we've had a game that has felt slow, other than the second half for Waratahs Highlanders, but that was slow in a good way, if that makes sense. Like, they were going try for try, and I was glad that it seemed like it was taking forever because we wanted to see more tries, and that's exactly what we got. But other than that, first halves have been breezing by. 7 penalties so far between these two sides, 4 against the Lions, 3 against the Stormers. But the Lions are the side with the 2 tries on the board. Now, nice attack and run from Nalabakanye, trying to get that turnover for the Stormers. And not successful in the venture, Ruan Fenta. Now, going to the right-hand side, or at least he's trying to, Van der Merk. Like they had it tied up there for a little bit. Edward van der Merwe after this slaps it back, and it's dropped by the big man Landsberg. That could have been another try chance. Here comes Evan Roos. Tackle low, I should say, by Nalabakanye. 50-22 attempted. Little bit too much on it. Oh, the altitude. No, it's pulled the ball up just short of going dead. But that could have lost maybe about 80 metres for that kick. And also, Stormers only play well against the Bulls. To work on my nerves, says Ronnie. And yeah, I mean, 32-33, the score last week for this Stormers side. So close to getting the victory, but having narrow defeats, eventually that starts to weigh on you. As much as the players want to say, no, it's fine, that's that game, we're moving on to the next. But in close scenarios, you find yourself thinking back, we didn't get the win last time. So you start to doubt yourself a little bit. And I think that we've seen a bit of indecision from the Stormers throughout this first 30 minutes. The likes of Similani, just in that recent play, how wasn't sure if he should pass or not, then lost the ball in the breakdown. Yuri Matia, tackle well. No, that was really dumb from the big man there. I think that Oosterhuizen, he's going to get himself penalised because he didn't realise his teammate was still in that breakdown. Now, Warakalant tries to kick him behind. It's going to be charged down by the Lions. Loose ball still available, and they'll go back now for the original penalty. And I don't think the Stormers can really afford to go for 3 here rather than taking on the 7. Wait, no. Warakalant is pointing at the posts. I don't like that. I don't like that choice very much. Yes, they're looking to, trying to slow it down a little bit and give them a bit of time to recover. But, in a game that you're down by this much, I just don't know if this is the right choice. And we'll wait to see whether or not it does backfire on them, which I do think that it could. Maybe if they win this game by 3 or less in the end, it's because of that one. But for now, I just feel like that's when you've got to put on that little bit more pressure. Take the points available. Says Spider-Meat 14 points down. Go for the corner, says Lilia B. Although last time they did get driven into touch, of course. So maybe that played a factor. I mentioned about it in terms of losing close games. Maybe losing that opportunity of scoring last time is still on their mind. And they go, if there are some form of points we can get for it, we'll take them. I think there was a call. I don't even know if that was a call from John Dobson or whether that was just Warakalant who had that call, because he was pointing at the post right from the get-go. And my guess is that the Stormers will just cruise through the rest of the season, says Wenmar. Although the key will still be close to that top 8, because the Lions, when they get the opportunity to get into that quarter-final picture, I can guarantee you they will take it. And the reason for that is because they narrowly missed out last year. In the end, it was the Ospreys, I think, who snuck their way in because of the very last game, and they managed to get that bonus point, or it was be within 7 or something like that, gave them the extra point that knocked the Stormers out of the competition. And they would have been stewing on that, waiting for their chance to yet again come back in and make that difference. So, yeah, I think that if they can get somewhere near that top 8, the Lions this year, they'll make sure that they make it through. The Stormers, it would be a big shame to see them go from where they were last year to now missing out on the top 8, but we've still got weeks to go. Still a few slightly easier games, I would say, for the Stormers as we progress. And the South African derbies, of course, they don't get any real easy breaks for those matches. You're just all-out action throughout them. Similani now, once again, that's just not a good decision. He waited until after contact to look for the offload. Didn't look a mile forward. But it just seems to be the timing at the moment for him just doesn't seem to quite be right. We're going to see it now. Yeah, that's forward by about a metre. And the Bulls versus the Sharks. Hamish next, says Dominique. Yep, going to be an awesome game, and we will be covering that one on the channel as well. If the Stormers keep this up, Grant will never release the hostage, says Sebastian. And who will win, says Dominique. Well, the Bulls come in as heavy favourites due to the Sharks really missing a lot of their firepower, but who knows? Maybe they can still find a way of being competitive. Stormers walking on tippy toes nicely and quiet. Warning Lions alert, says JD. Time for another beer, says Matthew. And as well, but now the ball is going to be fed in by the Lions. Morne Vandenberg waits for that. In fact, he does leave it for Horn. Now across to the left-hand side. Chance out wide for Edwell Vandermerwe. Gets through Ben Loader. Chipped in behind. No one's catching him. If that's the bounce of the ball. No, they actually have someone back. No, never mind. He dropped it. And Marius Lowe gets the credit for the try. I was about to say there shouldn't be anyone back there, but there somehow was, but it didn't matter because he pretty much lost the ball as quickly as he gained it. And then the Lions scored it anyway. Marius Lowe, his 13th career try, used to be at the Sharks, now at the Lions. But Edwell van der Merwe, where is this cover defender? Where did he come from? Because Warwick Gallant was at the back. It's actually Herschel Yankees. He's covered a lot of turf. Similani, I think it was, then dropped the ball. No, in fact, that time it was Angelo Davids. And then they scored the try anyway. Lions just on fire in the wet, says Studs Ray. Right, I thought for a second they were saying that they were going to look at that one, but it is going to be play on. Now, about 8 seconds remaining on the clock. And Lombard, geez, that's a lot of height on that kick, but it has still gone straight through the middle. And that makes the score 24 points to 6. Who would have seen this scoreline coming? Because honestly, like the Stormers, yes, they were underdogs going into this game, but after that first 10 minutes, you wouldn't have even thought this type of scoreline would have been possible. But the Lions just have not slowed down. They've kept that pressure on. It's been very impressive rugby to watch. And it just shows once again that they are a little bit of a dark horse in this competition. If they play well and they find their rhythm, they're hard to beat. Inside of the 22, 4 minutes remaining in this first half now. Two-man tackle from the Stormers. They need some form of try. And once again, that makes taking those 3 points look like an even worse decision. Because if you're taking 3 and your opposition are getting 7s, you're forever down by 4. And then when you add the extra 18, in this scenario, that they need to now make up, it's going to hurt. And exactly how much this is not the Stormers, but a demoralised team, says Wenmar. Yeah, they look lost. And I know that that sounds really harsh and maybe a bit unfair to say, but they don't seem like they have any structure to how they're playing. And even when they're having the ball go to them, there's just so much miscommunication, the forward passes, the knock-ons, the unsurety, if that's a word, of who's going to be running it. Even Ruiz, though, he's still trying. And he knows how important this next 3 minutes is for the Stormers. Yuri Matia goes to Similani. And once again, very flat pass, as if he didn't know he was going to be getting that ball initially. Now Yankees back across to the right-hand side. Salman Murat going off to Yuri Matia. Alistair Vermaak. Now going for the kick in behind. And it's going to stay in the field of play. Ewan Horn. He will kick this one downfield and into touch. They look under the weather. Yeah, like they just, with the exception of that first 10 minutes where they were all but scoring, they have just looked a little bit flat. And I can't work out exactly what it is that's, like, other than the fact that they're just relatively not on the same page. A few of their players, like Similani, I think he's been playing a whole different game to everyone else because, you know, he's had mistakes, he's had drop balls, he's had forward passes, missed tackles. Of course, it's not just him making mistakes, but it just seems to be we've hardly seen Dan du Plessis. Now, big run forward, offload from Dion Foree. Now off to the right-hand side, flick pass out to Loader, close to the sideline. Just managing to stay in the field of play. 2 minutes remaining now, low pass to Mura. Evan Roos spins. Oh, he almost ended up with his knee getting bent the wrong way there. Warwick Gallant now plays halfback. This is the chance for the Stormers under penalty advantage as well. They can't score now. Their chances are not high. Oh, the Lions just killed that one, just diving over the front of the breakdown. And they'll go back for the original penalty. Right, they won't take the 3 this time, I'd like to think. Told you, Gent, Stormers only good against the Bulls, says Ronnie, but they still lost against the Bulls. That's the worst thing about it. So you're saying their best game, they still can't win, which is not great for a side that want to make that top 8. Right, what's the call here? Okay, 2 advantages. I think Franz Malharba is just having a bit of a chat with the ref. He's frustrated at the moment by the sounds of it. Stormers not stretching teams' defences. Sweepers always have them covered. And the Stormers' backline looks dangerous when Similani doesn't touch the ball, says Grant. Sounds harsh, but honestly, at this stage, I do agree as well. It's just been a little bit like something's gone wrong, isn't it? And who is on 150 Malharbour games or Lions score? Says Eric. Yeah, luckily they're not at the 150 yet, but if it goes towards that way, I feel like the Stormers, something would have to really, really go wrong in the second half. But honestly, like 50, it sounds crazy to say, but 50 is not off the table for the Lions just at this point from what we've seen in this first half. The Stormers, they need to score, and they need to score now. We've got 8 seconds remaining in the first half. They're being told to use it once. They're going backwards. Looks like now they are starting to march. It's going very slowly. Trying to break off the side was JJ Coetzee. Off the feet for the Lions and the breakdown again. That's something that they have possibly gotten away with just a little bit at times throughout this matchup, but of course it wouldn't have changed too much at all. Is JC playing? If so, has he had some impact? He ripped the ball off Evan Russ earlier on, JC, and he's had a couple big tackles along the way too. Oh, interception once again. Just wrong pass option. Kick downfield. I think Callant just boot that one into touch and call it a half. No, instead they're going to try and run it here, the Stormers. What a Callant. Now he tries to kick it. I don't understand that choice. He might get a 50-22, and if he does, it's going to be halftime anyway. Jumping on that ball was Marius Lowe, throwing it away to Kewan Horn. I don't know if they all realise that it's halftime, but there was a forward pass, and that's going to be the end of the half. An entertaining one at that, but the Stormers are down by 18. The Stormers, one of the strongest sides in South Africa. What happens there, Xander? Yeah, unfortunately for them, just too many mistakes coming here throughout that first half. Tell you what, that would be an interesting career mode. Rugby 25 just recently coming out, of course. Stormers career mode on the cards. We can try and turn it around for them. I feel like I shouldn't play, though, because I would lose them more games than win them. But could be an idea. Perhaps at some point the Stormers have lost their touch, says Bokang. Yeah, halftime, 24 points to 6 at the moment. And fantastic game, sorry. I had to phone my cousin, Anton. And Johannesburg, he's 6, says Roof. And that's a tough watch, says Grant. And Lions can drop 50 on us. It will really add insult to injury, says Wemma. And Kit Kat Time says Spider-Meat there too. But yeah, not the half that we come to expect from us. Well, that we would like to expect from the Stormers. But it's becoming more common at the moment, unfortunately, for them to have a little bit of a rough start. Only 24 points to 6. The first ad that I've got is Rugby 25's now out. It's told me that's great news until people play the game and realise it's not ideal. Follow all the action. We'll get the stats for this contest. And come on the Lions. Let's go kick Stormers' butt. I'm happy to see the score. Makes me happy. Yeah, currently in terms of the stats, possession 56% in favour of the Stormers. So they've actually had more of the ball throughout that first half. 9 clean breaks, though, for the Lions. That's a brutal stat. 12 defenders beaten compared to the 8. They've scored 3 tries, so they're only 1 away from the bonus point. And then territory, 65%. Tackling success, 67 for the Stormers. And 8 turnovers, 1 for the Lions compared to 0 of the Stormers. So that's the big difference maker too. There's about 3 or 4 reasons that the Lions are doing so well, but those turnovers in the breakdown have been incredible throughout that first 40 minutes. We have there's Rico's performance in his last game worthy of the number 23. If you're talking Rico Ioane, I think no. I think he really underperformed for the Blues yet again. The bloke has gone over a year, I believe, if not maybe closer to a year and a half. Unless he snuck 1 try somewhere, but I think he's gone like a year and a half without scoring for the Blues. Although he might have got one in one of those playoff games, so that might have taken that out. But yeah, he's certainly not getting those numbers that he used to. Your Rugby 25 videos are hilarious, says Lilia B. Yeah, that game, if it was a little bit better, I think we would have done a few more videos by now. But just because of the roughness of the gameplay, it's made it a bit more difficult. But yeah, hopefully we'll do a career mode at some point. So, of course, do let me know if you guys had to pick any World Rugby team in terms of club rugby, who would you want me to coach for my Rugby 25 career mode? Do let me know. And Rico needs to be dropped, says Matthew. And the Bulls, says George. And Rugby 25 looks completely unnatural. Yeah, the players do not move like players should. I've just seen the penalty stat. Penalties conceded, 7 by the Lions, 3 by the Stormers. So the penalty count is actually quite high against the Lions here, yet they still find themselves sitting in a really good position. We've seen clean breaks, 3 for Kewan Horn, 5 defenders beat him for him as well. He's been really strong from the back. And hopefully, he's going to be able to do the same in the second half. Also had 67 metres made. Most metres made by any Stormers player was Evan Ruiz, who did have 41 and also bet 4 defenders throughout that first 40 minutes. And then defensively, we've seen 7 tackles made by Ruan Fenta. And then the most tackles made, Salman Moura for the Stormers with 5. And then alongside that, we also have JC Pretorius. He has won the most turnovers out of any Lions player with 2. How bad are we playing? Similani having the worst game defensively in the Stormers jersey. Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be too critical because sometimes you have an off game, right? But he's been poor on defense and attack. So it sounds terrible to say, but maybe second half, get Jonathan Roach on early. You risk the chance of an injury, of course. How do you see the other URC games going, says Pie Man? I think that the game between the Bulls and the Sharks could be a little bit one-sided if the Sharks aren't able to find their rhythm with the newer players that they've got in there. But I hope it's close and just goes down to the wire, because who doesn't love a South African derby that is extremely close? In terms of the other matches that we got as well, Munster versus Scarlets, I do think that Munster should win, but then they've had a few hiccups along this season. Don't have much confidence in Roach. It can't get much worse than Similani's playing, though. Like, Roach, he wasn't awful in that game a few weeks ago. I can't remember who it was up against, but, like, he had some good moments, just did what he had to, which honestly is better than, like, what's happened here so far. Ulster-Benetton, for me, is an interesting game, because Ulster come in as favourites. I actually think that Benetton might sneak a win there. And Kewan Horn is chopping us into small pieces, says Lionel. And what I don't get is how can a rugby computer game be so bad after they made rugby games for 30 years by now? Yeah, honestly, it's really bad in terms of the gameplay side of things, how backwards it can be. Like, you look through at the graphics and the players' faces, you know, they look good. They actually look like the guys out there on the field. But then you see the gameplay and you just wonder what completely, you know, what went wrong. Like, I'll try and find... I can show a thumbnail that we've got. We'll grab that one. And, okay, that might be, you know, like, in fact, that's a better one to show. But, like, this is what the player likeliness looks like for certain players. This is Jordan Hendrickse. It's not the greatest picture you'll ever see, but, like, in terms of compared to other past games, like, this is Bowden Barrett in the game, given a bit of a angry side eye, but, like, it looks good. It looks better than any rugby game we've had. But the gameplay is just not where it needs to be, and it just lets it down so much, because even if the gameplay was, let's say, 80% working, you still got a good game. But at the moment, it's like 20%. You can't even use a backline without it going wrong. As PS2 graphics, I was laughing all the time playing it. Honestly, like the face scans when the players are in, though, I think they look better than any game that we've had rugby-wise, but just gameplay, they can't pass or anything. What does Antoine Dupont look like? He looks very much like himself. I haven't got a picture right off the get-go, but yeah, like in terms of that player scan, looks like him. And we have got there 2:22 New Zealand time. I need some shut-eye, says Spider Mech. So yeah, we will see you later on. Bulls versus Sharks will be very close. Bulls missing some bot forwards. Then the Sharks missing more bot forwards, than the Sharks. Yeah, I think it's just that back line that's going to be the big difference maker. Billy LaRue, he's been going very nicely in that number 10 jersey as of late. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for not using Billy LaRue in the thumbnail of the next stream, says Sebastian. Honestly, I didn't do it as a bit of a mistake. I lay in bed as I was about to sleep and I went, oh, why did I use Kane Moody? Billy LaRue's playing, so I should have had him, but I didn't switch it. And, of course, I thought of you. But also, I didn't want to get out of bed to do it. Good to hear JDV in commentary. And then says Jacques Faury in the Lions coaching box. Says Lionel. And isn't it a skill issue, Hamish? Honestly, like, I want to say yes. I'm terrible at the game. But at the same time, from the general consensus of everyone pretty much who's played the game, they've said like it's like me and George, we played on the easiest difficulty up against what should have been a simple opponent. They missed one tackle throughout the whole game. We missed 14. That's a skill issue. But then at the same time, like they wouldn't give us the ball. You defend, you contest for it, and you had 20% possession throughout the 80 minutes. And says Sebastian there. But yeah, it's a work in progress. Hopefully it gets better. Probably ask ChatGPT to create some code. No, they use the pretty much the model of rugby league and tried to turn it into union. I'm always thinking of Villy before bed. I walked into that one, didn't I, Grant? That one, I pretty much gave you the perfect alley-oop. All you had to do was slam dunk at Hogwarts Legacy, says George. In terms of like the running mechanics in that game, they're probably better than Rugby 25 at this point, I would say. The second half of this contest, not a mile away from taking place. Bulls versus Sharks, of course, the next contest taking place. We are going to be live on the channel for that one as well. Kicking off in about an hour and a half. We are starting that live stream in an hour 15. We are going to have 15 minutes build up for that contest. So you say Mr. Similani was playing the game so much, he started playing like it? I would say so, yeah. He's just unfortunately been on the different wavelength than his teammates throughout that first half. 20% of the ball isn't much. Imagine 80%. There's potential for points. What do you think of Cricket 24? I haven't actually played Cricket 24. I played a lot of Cricket 22. Like, I don't mind it, but I think that Cricket 24... some people have said have taken a backward step, and same with the AFL game that they made. I think it got slightly worse. So, like, that's a concern that games are getting worse, not better. But the graphics are getting better, but, you know, you just need some sort of, you want it to do well because you want rugby games, but at the same time, they have to make sure that they are pleasing people with the gameplay. Rugby 24 is funny as hell to play my players. I always get injured, says Matthew. And how did Malharba do in this game? Honestly, we've had very little scrums. And other than that, I think Malharba maybe touched the ball once. If he's lucky. He hasn't made more than 5 tackles, because that is the leading tackler for the Stormers. But yeah, not a huge amount in that department. But both sides now making their way back out onto the field. Herschel Yankees is dog poo now. But he will shine in France next season. Always happens, says Lionel. And we have got there, Grant, your sense of humour is itchy scratch it. I haven't heard that terminology, but I'm not completely mad at it. I'm watching Harlequins versus Springs. Live great game. Springs. That wouldn't be Saracens, would it? Who's Springs? Is that auto-corrected, or is that just who you, like a nickname for them? I'm trying to think of who that would be. And I can't think of who it would be. But they show him Franz Malharba now for his 150th match. It certainly hasn't gone the way that Stormers supporters would have liked. But they've got another 40 minutes to try and turn it around. If they do, it would be a brilliant comeback. If they don't, though, this score could get even more one-sided than it already is here. There's Show and Similani. I do think that they should have maybe looked at that change of Roach at halftime. Mate, how good are the Black Cats compared to Oz? In T20, Aussies still do pretty well compared to us. Springs Club in South Africa. Oh, is that a game taking place? I didn't even know that one was happening, Outlaw. You need a solid combination of good graphics and good gameplay. If not, graphics are at least good gameplay for a game not to suck. Yeah, like people would prefer, I think, bad graphics for good gameplay than good graphics for bad gameplay. I've been watching Celtic Women's challenge as well. Now, second half. Just about to take place. Malharba is a scrummaging better than that bad performance against the Bulls. He's had a couple poor ones as of late, but looks like he's back in the right direction. Stormers smoked something half-time. Watch out, Lions, says Val. But 1 point away, or sorry, 1 try away from that bonus point here for the Lions. That is the bare minimum that they will want from this matchup. Now we're just about ready to go. Yuri Matia. Now, kicking it off. The Lions will be receiving, going from left to right this time, and a nice take from Ruan Finta. And Hogwarts Legacy, not bad, but not what I expected, says George. Let's hope we can at least look competitive in the second half, says Lionel. And isn't it crazy to think that a side like the Stormers, the inaugural champions of the URC, now we're in that situation of hoping they at least can hold their own in a half rather than dominate it. Like, it just shows where they are at the moment, that it's not where they once were, and they just need something to work for them. Oh, that's a missed pass. Similani, that's going to count as forward off him, but I don't think he was supposed to get it initially. I think it was supposed to go over him. Leinster doing very good this season, says Ricardo. Yeah, they're looking like a strong side yet again, Leinster. And not a good start to the half for the Stormers. Any thoughts on the 56 players selected for the first Springboks alignment camp for 2025? I think Rassie's just saying, look, we've got the door wide open. Anyone who plays well has a chance of coming for one of the camps. So, yeah, hopefully we do get to see some great players throughout this year. And it'll be very intriguing to see what the tactic is for Rassie, whether or not it is use as many guys as he did for last season, or whether it's kind of shore up a smaller group this time. But injuries, I think, will play a big part. And what game are you doing next in the URC? Next game that we are covering is in an hour and 30 minutes time, and that is the match between the Bulls and the Sharks. We got ourselves a scrum just after I mentioned that we hadn't had a huge amount of them throughout the first half. Leinster always start like a house on fire and finish strong, says Wenmar. And Lions, let's go. And the boys pull it out. And please, Stormers, don't be so brutal with the poor Stormers. There's good selection, and Rassie will make good decisions. So here's Lionel. And now scrum feed. And Lions have got the possession. Marius Lowe goes off the back. Here comes another space opening up. Richard Creel gets round one tackle attempt. Kjuan Horn caused problems all throughout the first 40. Wanted to do the same here, but Waterkaland over the ball and does get the turnover. That is a massive one for the Stormers, a confidence builder at the start of the half. John Dobson shaking his head, but that is a great one to win. But I think it's more so how they got there that he's disappointed about. Lions mauling hapless, windy Stormers, says Ruth. Now second half is already well and truly underway, 3 minutes in. These games, like I said, they're going to fly by. Before we know it, it will be the end of the round again. Just looking at the time, 7.5 hours time, I am going to be going, not so much skydiving, but I'm going to be skydiving in a tube. Don't know how I've ended up in that situation, but somehow I've been signed up for that. So that'll be interesting. We might film it for the channel, although I have no idea what to title it or anything along those lines if we do have some sort of video. Tube diving. Yeah, it's like, you know that one how you float in a tube and you're like, you can adjust yourself. And Bulls need to win today, says Colin. And I am great commentary. Thank you, love and God bless from Johannesburg, South Africa, says Lally P. But now, come back across to the left-hand side. Ruben van Heeren goes to Selman Murat. That was a rough pass. A little bit low. Hamish flexing, says Wenmar. I hope you're not meaning literally, because there's not a lot there to flex. Now, trying to find that next pass with Yuri Matia. Yankees goes across to Dan Duplessis. Marius Lowe shuts him down. Just not really getting a huge amount of distance forward at the moment. Oh, beautiful cellular dummy from Waterkaland, though. And he goes through and scores the try for the Stormers. Great patient. Shown again in the tube with 50 balls. That'll be a laugh. It probably would be, to be fair. I've always wondered, though, is there like a big fan on the floor that you could like go through? I don't think you can. But the thing is, I haven't even thought about it till now. Like, it's a weird thing to do that I don't know, like I said, how I've ended up signed up to do it. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Yes, boys, it's what can happen when Similani doesn't touch the ball. But yeah, really nice run from Waterkaland. sold the big dummy. Franz Malharba had to duck. He was not wearing that ball to the face. Too much experience for that. Now 45 minutes in, don't get your balls in the fan, says Scott David George. And last game between the Bulls and the Stormers was a very good game, so I hope the Stormers coming back. And Yuri Matia gets the kick over. That is the start to the half that they needed. Is that not shepherding? Not quite. I think if there was contact made, it could have been called as obstruction. But I don't think there was any contact with Franz Malharba. No, he's just gone straight through one way and Waterkalant's gone around the other. And well, flex and the showing off sense, says Wenmar. Well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't mention things that I do outside of rugby. I will just be a robot. Club rugby is still good in South Africa, says Outlaw. And Lions mustn't relax now. Game's not won yet, says Colin. And nicely taken by Ruben van Heeren. Now Yankees goes back across to the 22. Evan Ruiz. Now Yankees waiting for this ball to roll back. He's been told to use it. Last thing that the Stormers want is to get a free kick against them for taking too long. Time for a smash it back, Lions. But now, Kieran Horn looking to go off to the right. And once again going for the counter-attack. Fan not big enough, mate. I reckon old mate could lend his helicopter to Wimba Big, says JD. Penalty goes the way of the Lions this time. That's for not rolling away against Alistair Vermaak. When you've just scored, the last thing you want to be doing is conceding a penalty that allows the opposition an attacking chance. And that's what the Lions will now have. And I'd like to think they'll kick for the... Oh, they're kicking for the post. Once again, not the biggest fan of that decision. Just because they're up by 11. 3 points here still means that the Stormers theoretically 2 converted tries, they're back to the draw. A try here gets them the bonus points secured. And they also are in that position of, like, that almost, well, it doesn't quite secure the win, but it gets you a lot closer to securing it than taking the 3 points here. Don't know what, or from what Yankees family Herschel is. Definitely not from me. He is Dog Poo, says Adrian. The kick has gone over, though. That's the main thing. Can't fault the Stormers for not trying. They're in everything and hitting tackles hard, says Studs Ray. Yeah, it's just every once in a while they have one big mistake, and that's been the difference maker, really. Right, Brock Harris is on, so is Nedeling Fouchier, so they have decided to take the big man Franz Malharba off in his milestone game. And Andre Hugo Fente, he makes his way on. Looks like Dion Forey is off. And now that's going to be a knock-on against the Stormers. Now rolling this one back. Kicking this one up high, Monet Vandenberg. And, oh, great take from Edward van der Merwe. Lamp went up for it. Wasn't quite able to regain. Now, it's going to be an awkward one. Great take from Herschel Yankees inside of his 22. Now we have good there, extend the lead. To put more pressure on the Stormers. Pressure leads to mistakes. And why they set smashed, or they say smash that like button. How do you smash it? Yeah, I've always wondered that, to be fair. Just because, like, on a phone, right, the only thing that you'd smash is your phone screen. And I feel like that's a very expensive thing to smash. Click that like button. Makes sense. Tap that like... Does anyone say tap that like button? I don't think many do. So anyone who hasn't already, be sure to tap it. 31 minutes remaining. Line out throw here for the Lions. PJ Aborta. Still need one more try to get themselves that bonus point. Now, I'm back across. JC Pretorius. I call the maintenance if the light's broken, says JD. Now Paul Devet kicking it high. And looks like they've actually made another change. And that is, of course, like I said, Dion Forey off, but De Villiers comes on. I never mentioned who was making his way on there. And smash just sounds cooler than exactly Hamish. A lot of time left, exactly right. Oh, bounce to the ball for Angelo Davis. Just goes forward. He was almost away. Plenty of pace. I don't think they would have caught him had he taken it cleanly. And tap sounds safer, says Colin Raff. Yeah, Richard Creel just trying to do enough to slap that ball back onto his team's side. Right, the TMO was just having a chat there with the ref. I'm not exactly sure what he said. Keep them rolling in. Boat Hamish looks awesome. The smash sounds normal if you think with your top head. With your top head. But isn't your top head like your actual brain? Wouldn't it be with your bottom head in that case? And touch the like button sounds too kinky, says George. Caress the like button. That's different. You know? Scrum feed. 14 points difference at the moment. Stormers, they will want to finish within 7 at worst case scenario here. Big scrum from the Lions. I think the Stormers almost got the better of that one, though. Now, Morne van den Berg, drop ball. And now chance here for the Stormers. Flicked out the back. Similani's dropped the ball again. He's slapping the ground. I'm sorry, but it's not his day. Nothing personal. Take him off for Roach. Okay, I just saw not Grant Dobson, but John Dobson. I just saw at least twice that he said the F word there from that last play, but I think he's frustrated with Similani too. And he's slapping the ground, stroke the like, but stroke sounds like you're going to do it more than once though. You know, like you go forward and then you go back with the stroke. So then you'd end up like liking then unliking. Right, what do the Lions do? Now I think it's going to be scrum time. I'd like to see them try and go off the back again. That seemed to be something that has been effective for them. I love Hamish. Work, you got to add him to your favourites list. Top of the list. But yeah, I would take Similani off. Like, I know that it sounds harsh. Like I said, Stormers scrum feed, I should say, due to the earlier advantage. So they might look, no, both front rows come up. Evan Ruiz, I think, got poked in the eye or something. He's actually gone down in back play here. And one of the weights in the scrum says Matthew. I'm not actually too sure what they were. I missed it on the first scrum, but I would say about 915, 920 for both scrums. Probably an advantage in weight for the Lions because Anala Bakanye sounds harsh, but he does bulk up a forward pack. They're just showing all the turf that's been ripped up each scrum. Dobson put on his specs to better see the badness Similani is dishing up. But like in that case, like once again, that pass was looking like it was going way over his head. But he tried to catch it and it just, it's not his day. Like this is the type of game that you have nightmares about as a player. But they have to recognise it. They can't try and push him through it because it does seem like it's getting worse as it goes on. So, yeah, I think eventually they just got to bite the bullet and say, right, we'll take him off for Roach. Wasn't your day, Similani. You'll be back. Who was there to replace Similani is a better option. So they have got Roach, who's a handy enough player. Some people don't rate him that highly, but honestly, I think he'd actually go all right here. Plus, he does play centre like Similani, so it's actually a straight swap that you could get away with. I think the last thing that they want, though, is to have an injury later on and not have a back replacement. But 14 turnovers conceded from the Stormers throughout this game compared to the 6 of the Lions. Front rows have gone down. Ref says, no, we're going to have another scrum reset. Both teams going down is the call. And yeah, that did look like the Lions did go down first from that angle, but no penalty against anyone as of yet. I think the next one, though, we'll probably see a penalty. And where is the scrum? Scrum's about 40 metres out at the moment for the Stormers from the Lions line. And the harder Similani tries, the worse it gets for him, poor lad. And yeah, I feel like most rugby players have been there, haven't they? How everything you feel like you're doing just is going wrong. But he could go out next game and have a 9, 10 out of 10 performance. It's just for now anyway, it's just not working. That's a kick in behind from Watacalant. Running into touch there for Lombard. He wanted none of that. Going to be 5 metres from the try line and a really good chance here for the Stormers to go for the line out. The Castle Rugby Club series will be live each weekend, says Outlaw. And also ref does not want to give scrum penalty against the Stormers. Or to the Stormers, I think, would be more likely at the moment. In terms of not giving, just because like they've been close to winning about the last 3 scrums. There's going to be butter on his hands. And Hart says Lions, Subaru says Stormers. Either way, I'm happy, says Matthew. So I guess that's a little bit like the ones who they bet on the other team. So that if they have their team win, it's good. And they win. But then if they lose for their team, they at least win money, if that makes sense. I feel like that's a little bit the same in your case for the Super Brew side of things. Nice pass out wide. Yuri Matea inside ball to Angelo Davids. How did they not score there? Brilliant defense from the Lions and counter-attack. And they've got it back in that ruck. And they win the penalty too. That is brilliant work. And honestly, like John Dobson is ready to pull his hair out, although it looks like that is not possible. But it's got to be frustrating for not just the coach, for the players, for the fans, for everyone but the Lions, who have just gone from strength to strength defensively throughout this game. Because they should have scored for all money. Angelo Davids inside ball from Warakalant to him, and there should have been some sort of try on the cards. But there was not. Who are you supporting, says Cristiano? Honestly, I'm pretty neutral in this case. I just hope that it's a good game. And so far, one team has certainly been delivering a little bit more than the other. Lions, my URC team. I put pingers on them. Come on, fellas. Says Thuds Ray. It's going to be claimed by the Lions. Morne Vandenberg. Slaps it backwards to Edward van der Merwe. You need a Stormers boyfriend to bring you back, says Winmar. Now rolling this ball back a little bit further. It seemed like it was more difficult to butcher than to score. Honestly, yeah. Like, it looked like a certain try. With the amount of momentum that they had moving forward, it just seemed like it wasn't going to be possible not to get it. But they managed to do it. Somehow. Now, Paul DeVette, he is on the field for Herschel Yankees, so they're willing to make that change, but not that centre one as of yet. Warwick Calant, he's had a, like, other than his yellow card, honestly, he's had a pretty good game. It hasn't been perfect by any means, but he scored the try. He's managed to break the line a couple times and at least look threatening, and also got that turnover in the breakdown a bit earlier on. And he looks like he's trying to get something created. Little chip from Yuri Matea goes out on the full by about 3 metres. Not the choice, unfortunately, again, for the Stormers here. And we have got there one more try, Lions. Yeah, they do still need that one to get the bonus point. They're not a mile off it. They're pushing the opposition. That guy is dancing in the stands, absolutely loving it. And Lions must rip through soon. Looks like there might be a bit of an injury here for the big man, Darren Landsberg. Hopefully we'll be all right to continue. He's had a couple decent moments, almost had a try assist earlier on. A couple handling errors, though, as well. The big Zimbabwean. Now, second half. We're already almost halfway through it, and Stormers will win this. 20 minutes to go, says Dominique. Since when have the Lions had cheerleaders? Is that something new that they've got now? Because I know the Stormers have always had them, but I didn't realise the Lions had their cheerleaders. Do all the South African sides have cheerleaders? Now that I think about it. Maybe they do. Now rolling more for the Lions. And breaking off the back. Nice work. Moving closer to that 22-metre line. Stormers have scored 3 times to win. I don't think so, says Dominique. Little chip in behind. Hard under the high ball for anyone to claim. And it looks like it's bounced on the side of the Stormers. But they'll go back for another advantage. In favour of the Lions. Offside 16. So So that's going to go against Andre Hugo Fent. What's this? No. Like, I get it. Again, it makes sense for the game's sake. They're kicking for the 3, but they've also got to remember a bonus point could be the difference between them making it to the next stage of the competition and missing out. So I guess they're still backing themselves to be able to get a try later on, but I would have thought they'd try and secure it by now just to make sure that they've got it. Because if they end up in this game only with 3 tries, they'll look back at this moment and the one prior where they took the 3s and realise that that was the mistake. Most South African teams have cheerleaders, Stormers, Sharks, and the Bulls. So here's Matthew. Now lining up this kick. Lombard once again gets it over. That's one benefit that they've got, is the fact that they just get it each and every time, which cheerleaders are the best. The most established cheerleading team in terms of the one who you see the most, I would have to say, is the Stormers, just because they seem to have like 20. That Lions one that they had on the sideline, there were about 6, and they looked a bit confused. But that's all right. They still are there, riling up the crowd, getting them fired up, and it must be working because the team's going good. I think they all have cheerleaders, maybe not the cheaters. They have old grey-haired men on Harleys, says Bruce. It looks like Brock Harris might have taken a bit of a knock to the side of the head here. Nicely taken by Ben Loader. Advantage in favour of the Stormers. Evan Ruiz running hard. Up to about 35 metres out. Paul Devet sells the dummy. Tries to go through. He's crunched by Ruan Fenter. Salman Murat gets it off to JJ Koets. No, that would have been Ruben van Heeren, I would assume, as we do still see Andre Hugo Fenter out there on the field. Now De Villiers going to Marcel Dennis, another advantage in favour of the Stormers. Warwick Lant goes off to Yuri Matea. He's been tackled by his own legs. He's slipped over, or in fact just tripped. And they'll go back for the penalty anyway. The Bulls cheerleaders are the best, says Colin. I don't think I've seen the Bulls cheerleaders. We'll have to look out for them in the next game, seeing as they are at home. I don't remember them anyway. Maybe it's just because the Stormers ones are all wearing that bright DHL logo, so that's kind of firmly in the mind. If we had cheerleaders here in Ireland, they would have to wear raincoats, says Pie Man. And I suppose it depends on their budget. Right, it's going to be an option. Looks like, yeah, Brock Harris has a bit of a cut just under the ear. Doesn't look too happy at the moment, the experienced veteran. Look like the Lions are almost ready to bring Visachi on. Who else have they got there? They got SJ Kurtzia, Schoolman, Ruan Del Porto. I think all 4 of those men were about to make their way onto the park. Yuri Matea, Paul de Hamish. Yeah, I can't even be offended because it is true. I fall over a lot. But, yeah, he just unfortunately got tackled by thin ear. Which just tells you it's not his day as well. Female cheerleaders, yeah, says Colin. 19 minutes remaining. Win predictor at the moment is 93% in favour of the Lions, as the Stormers would need 3 tries just to be able to secure it. 2 converted tries and a bonus on a 3 would get them there to a draw. But, yeah, I'm just a bit worried the Lions, if they don't get that bonus point, will be kicking themselves. Yes, it will be a big win over a South African side, but when a team has underperformed like the Stormers have in this game, you got to go for the jugular a little bit. Because you know if the roles were reversed, I'd like to think that the Stormers would go for that aggressive kind of mindset. Falling over like Skittles dominoes, and Brock was in the way of Krabby's kicking. Therefore, Krabby's had a bad kick. Penalty against Lions. Strange call, says Eric. Do you mind reaching down? Bottom shelf, me 6-pack of JD, could you please, says JD. I thought you were talking to me for a second there. Now 10 minutes. Oh no, just a bit more, sorry. Almost 20. 10 metres out from the line. Andre Hugo Fenter. Stormers looking for that bonus point for being within 7. At the same time, 3 more tries in the next 20 minutes would lead them to their own bonus point. So, should be worth a crack. Now, Paul de Vet. To Ruben van Heeren. Being told to leave it very clearly by the ref. Had another crack at it beforehand. Now back across, flat ball, Andre Hugo Fenta tried to go to Evan Ruiz, who has knocked it on. No, he hasn't. Yesterday, Valentine's Day, I thought I was going to be inundated. I was right. I was in and undated, says Bruce. And Wema, I agree, they're Dodge City. Don't know if a steak is steak. But now, once again, blowing another opportunity. Replacements now. Visachi makes his way on. We're going to see Coetzee, Schoeman, and also Delport, the other man who has made his way out there too. This will be interesting for the final moments of the game, whether or not the bench for the Lions can continue the momentum that the starting forward pack has created. No wonder Stormers are suckling with Moura in their team, says Louis. Andre Hugo Fenta gets it into Ruben van Heeren. Off to the right-hand side, flat ball from Dan du Plessis, charging forward, looking for the miracle offload, and it doesn't work out for De Villiers. And now Henko van Wyk has got the ball back. De Villiers searching for the ball, and he's done brilliantly to get it back, so making up for his error just before. Similani passes the ball off to Yuri Matia. Angelo Davids, he's got a bit of space to be able to work with, cuts back inwards and then slips over. Now, Ruben van Heeren offloads to Yuri Matia. Visachi trying to rush forward. Similani makes the pass away. Gelant with the wide cutout pass. Loader, two-man tackle on him. This is some of the best face play we've actually seen from the Stormers today. Gelant goes off to, big bump off. Ruben van Heeren sits down Vandenberg. Definitely a size discrepancy between those two. And come on, the Stormers, says Mother City guy. What a Gelant, skip past Similani, it slipped through his fingers. And it's a double blow of the whistle. This sounds like a deliberate knock-on, perhaps. Yellow card has come out for the Lions. Richard Creel not too happy. Oh. Okay, he's not happy with that decision there. He has to get off the field, though. He's been told to get off. He's come back on again. And he's not going to be happy about it. Wanted them to check it to see whether or not he was the culprit. But now they're going to kick this one towards the corner again. The Lions are making silly mistakes now, says Colin. That is huge commitment by De Villiers. And Creel got a yellow card for that horrific haircut. To be fair, if he got a fingertip to it, that was really bad from Creel in terms of the stretched out hand. And the fact that it is a Stormers line-out would insinuate that he did. Well, no, not really, because they kicked it in to touch off the penalty. But, yeah, I think he did get a fingertip to it. 15 minutes remaining, and 9 of which the Lions will be down a man. So this game's still got a little bit of an extra tail in the tape that wasn't anticipated up till this point. Now still marching. Maybe a metre they made. Now they're still trying. They were told to use it a long time ago. So I feel like now they really have to. Paul de Vet goes off to Dan du Plessis. And trying to get over the ball. Henko van Wyk, he's lost his footing. He has given away the penalty advantage. Lions are starting to become ill-disciplined here. Got there. Creel got a yellow card. I know I read that one. And the Lions be kicking themselves for not going for the bonus point try. Like I said, it's the mindset that we saw quite a bit from the Sharks last year. And it actually, slowly, each time you don't go for that winning bonus point, you go down and down and down in terms of that table. 5 points was crucial here for the Lions. Definitely with a win eyeing up the way that it is currently. You know, they're sitting there in 14th. One extra bonus point straight away puts them up to 13th without even considering the win, which will take them to 9th. Now, I believe they should still go up to 9th in terms of points differential if they were to win this game by a certain margin, more than 4. But that extra point now can help you drastically later on. And out of all of the sides of the URC, I would think that the Lions know that more than anyone, based on the fact that they missed out on the quarters last year by 1 point in fact, less than a point because of, I think it was points differential that ended up costing them. And it's not over yet. Stormers 3's earlier, starting to make sense there. Studs race, maybe. Yeah, although if they had gone a bit more aggressive early and they had one more try on the board, they too would have been in a situation of searching for the chance at a bonus, if they were, of course, to score now. And again, Porter onto the field. That is for Salman Moura. 13 minutes remaining on the clock now. Lions has to wake up, says Colin. They certainly do. Now ready to throw this ball in. Nicely taken. And now looking both ways. Paul de Vet. Which way does he go? He goes right off to De Villiers. And straight away stolen in the breakdown from the big man in the 4 jersey. And that is a crucial turnover there. And that's brilliantly done, because it didn't even look like it was that open for him to be able to do it. Watching Hamish and watching Club Rugby is nice. Next match is Kempton. Wolves versus Vereniging. Hopefully I've said that correctly, but I might have got it wrong. Now Yuri Matia cuts inwards. Morne Vandenberg, he's been involved in a lot of big challenges today. A lot of the time he's just the punching bag that they're hitting into. Now big run from Brock Harris. I don't think he was the one who they expected to have in space just before Lions could have, or should have, come to the consensus. Let the Stormers win because they stand a better chance, save injuries overall. Says Wenmar, passed out wide and can't find Roach. It was about a metre or two behind him. And the Lions crowd are starting to fire up just that little bit more now too. They know how crucial these misses are from the Stormers backline. They're showing Roach, but I don't think he can be blamed for that one. That was a poor pass about a metre and a half behind him when you're by the touchline. I don't think anyone would have brought that one in unless they were out of position, of course. But 12 minutes remaining, 6 of which the Lions will be down to 14. Yeah, nah, that was poor from Dan du Plessis. Just couldn't quite get it away. The man he was after. Looks like a bit of an injury here for... I think that is actually the big man. Just got the penalty before in Oosterhuizen. And good defence by the Lions, says Eric. Yeah, back up to his feet. Tenny Oosterhuizen, he will continue going. Bit of a conversation with the other replacement lock. The Lions supporters in the stands are looking happy. Stormers supporters still getting behind their side by the looks of it too, though. Good defence by the Lions. Honestly, their defence throughout this game has been some of the best we've seen from the Lions in a little while. Yes, at times the Stormers haven't really thrown that much back at them, but like overall, the tackles that they've been making, definitely stealing that ball just out from their line too, has been world class. Any territory stats for the second half? All Stormers, says Studs Rays. So I'll have a quick look and see what we got for the second 40 minutes, or at least up till this stage. I don't think I can get the exact half, like second one, but territory at the moment is 72%. In the first 68 minutes. Possession is also 61% in favour of the Stormers, yet the Lions are the team with 3 tries on the board and a lead of 17. Thrown in, nicely taken by the Stormers again. Paul de Vet. Back across, Roach in the middle of the park. Makes a few post-contact meters. Paul de Vet off to, it would have been Dan du Plessis, now out wide, Similani. I think they might have taken off Angelo Davids by the look of that. Oh dear, looks like Wales have got more chance of winning their next game than the Stormers have of winning this one. Says Bruce, and Lions had a good start to the URC season, then they drop off. Hopefully they can keep their form here. Says Dominique, and 2 or 3 tries, less than 10 minutes left, says JD. Similani now passes on the outside. Dan du Plessis goes off to Roach, has space to run into. Moves up to 15 metres out from the try line. De Vet, that was a rough pass, but Ruben van Heeren does beautifully to pick it up. Lions looking for the turnover. Kutsia can't get it. Brock Harris. Hugely experienced head on that man. Bounce past the water. Kalante goes through. Passes to Loader inside ball to Evan Ruiz. And that will be the try. And the Stormers with 10 minutes left on the clock. Is it still possible? You know, They're down by 12. They're searching for at least that losing bonus point, but I feel like at this stage, they still feel they've got enough time to go on and get the win. I'm in another dodgy pub here watching this called the Sailors Retreat. Says Fleshin. A nice pass and linking up well. Loda saw Ruiz with him rather than trying to finish it himself. Had that awareness. Now chance at the post. Yuri Matia. Add the extra 2 and he does just that. 30 points to 20 now. And ball second half from the Lions. They needed another try. But the 2 times that they had the chance at another try, they decided to go for 3. So are we now going to see the regret for the Lions if they aren't able to get it? I still feel like they've got enough time to get one, I should mention. They are a capable enough side. They could struggle if the Stormers still keep the possession and territory like they have been here. But honestly, like, there's just a few too many, like, I don't want to say bad decisions, but there have been a few mistakes in terms of the second half game plan, I think, for the Lions. Lions fell away badly in this half, says Colin. But I think the difference maker would have been just scoring one of those tries, giving them more confidence. Big, long kickoff. Oh, that looked a little bit high from Coetzee, and he's going to be penalised for it. And now, that is the last thing that the Lions were after in that situation. Dan du Plessis staying down for a little bit longer. Got rattled a bit by the looks of it, and drama in the last 10 looks like it's going to be. 10 points difference, 8 minutes to go. Looks like he's going to have to go off for an HIA. Is he? Surely that's not for Dan du Plessis, is it? It was more so he got grabbed around the neck. Maybe he smacked his head on the ground. I didn't see it from my angle. But, oh no, that might actually be someone else going off for an HIA. By the looks of it, yeah, SJ Coetzee, the man who did the clotheslines, going off for the HIA. Still possible, not an easy watch for Lions supporters. Stormers to steal it with the bonus point, says Dominic. That's the thing, if Stormers score twice here, they win and they get the bonus point. So they get 5. Here comes Similani down the wing. Tries to keep the ball alive, but is just a little bit isolated out on the wing. Gets driven into touch. Momentum shift. Yep. And that's what happens when you don't go for the jugular, though. You give the opportunity to these type of sides to be able to keep it close. And come on, Lions, get your stuff together, says Steve. And yeah, Similani just running out of space on the side. I wonder what the odds would have been for the Lions to win and for that Stormers comeback when they were down by about 20 points. But now off to the left-hand side for the Lions. 7 minutes remaining. Paul de Vet. Oh, Evan Ruiz sat down. You don't see that too often. And he looks like he's a bit rattled as well from that. Evan Ruiz took a bit of a knock in the process. Now what a Callant. Big firing pass, but it's intercepted by the Lions, and they are on hot attack till they drop the ball. Delport not able to handle it. Stormers have the advantage. Here comes Ruben van Heerden. Lions need to pull their fingers out, so it is going to be a scrum in favour of the Stormers now. Like I said, very scrappy at the moment between these two sides. And come on, Stormers, please. Franz Malharra's 150th game, says Viv B. And yeah, taking him off relatively early. They decided to make those changes at around half time. But it's going to be an interesting one. Still another 6.5 minutes left. Stormers will have the feed of the scrum. Started looking for Nutella Cape Town boyfriend, Ruth. Says Winmar. Lions must score now, says Colin. Oh. I never noticed him till they just said it there. Elton Yankees watching on. Looks like he's slightly hiding. Of course, he's been through quite a bit in terms of the last few years. Right, the commentator is just saying he looks like he's not enjoying anything. He's probably not, seeing as he got banned from playing rugby. Like, that normally would probably make someone a bit sad. Definitely if it's their career. Okay, we're starting soon, says Ruth. And remember, Lions have a yellow. That is true for another 30 seconds. They are down to 14, but still, they've just let this one slip a little bit. And why are both Bulls and Lions so bad last 15 minutes of matches, says Eric. I don't know whether it's the gas tank or maybe the more honest answer is probably just the bench. Some of the players coming off the bench aren't as strong as those guys in the starting lineup. Possession at the moment, 62%, and territory 72% in favour of the away side, the Stormers. But now time is back on. 2 tries for the Stormers. 1 more would get them within 7, so that would put them on the bonus point side of things. And then the other side of things here is the fact that if they got 2 tries in the last 6 minutes, they would probably win this game and get the bonus. Is Elton playing? He does not know. He was in the stands. So they did show him. He was kind of slouched down as if he was trying to hide, and someone for the camera crew's gone, oh, I found him, I'll zoom in, and we'll put him on the screen for a few minutes. Our Lions back to 15, says Russ. And Stormers, come on, you've got territory, so make it count, says Viv B. Richard Creel looks like he is about to make his way back out onto the field. Yes, he does. Because of that scrum reset. Allows him to run back out there. So that is a big one to have for the Stormers team. Lions to score to steal the game. And Rivers trying too hard, says Steve. And he also said Elton Yankees is an embarrassment to rugby. So it sounds like a negative mindset has come in for Steve today. Now, going to be fed in. Absolutely, says JD. 5 minutes remaining. Paul DeVette and gum guards are so solid. Yeah, they've got the fancy technology ones, I think, now with the HIA programmed into it, so that if you take a really big knock, your mouth guard says so. Now Gillant, the wide cutout pass to Ben Loader. There was a short period he and Pollard had a good thing going, says ROP. Stormers are going to lose, man, says Eander, although they have got possession at the moment and still 5 minutes to work. A bit cooler here, only 35 degrees Celsius. Oh, another turnover for the Lions and then a drop ball though. So it's going to be another scrum for the Stormers. This time about 40 metres out from the line, which is all well and good, but it also uses up quite a bit of time to get this one. And Steve, you're not wrong, Jean de Villiers, says Ruth. And also go the Lions, says Stephen Peters. 4.5 minutes left. Time is now off. Looks like another injury here for the big man Oosterhuizen. Frans Malharbe looking nervous. That Richard Creel mustache / mullet combo is a crime against humanity. It's an interesting look. I'll give him that. Like, in terms of trying to stand out from his brother, he's doing it well because no one's confusing him with David Creel now. After this game, the Lions still have 1 more game in hand, says Andre. And sloppy play by the Lions, milk and time, says Dominique. And Orange Roof, I'm full of balls, says Steve. And also Lions raw, gone now for sure. Visits to the opposition, 22. The Stormers have had 17, but they've only scored twice. That's a very telling stat in this game. But the Lions, they're only 5 minutes away from not getting a bonus point win in a game that they should have easily. We've got the Imagine having a pure mind like Hamish, where you've never seen an episode of Friends. I've seen Friends. That's one thing that I have seen. I think I've watched it all. I think. Now, another scrum reset. This is going to use up more time on the clock. Dobson to take a bottle of headache pills, says Roof. Tell you what, it's got to be frustrating as a coach because your team have probably not done anything that they were supposed to in terms of tactics and everything along those lines, just dropping the ball often. 4 minutes left. I think the Lions will leave this game frustrated too, though, if they don't get another try. Like, honestly, they should have had 4. And yes, you could say that that extra 3 points or the extra 2 3-pointers that they've taken has taken the Stormers out of the game, but so would have a try. And now, penalty goes the way of the Lions. I may have spoken a bit too soon because this might now be their chance to go for one last attacking play. Landsberg loving that one. He's on the sideline at the moment. Agree, Hamish. Lions had enough chances to score bonus point try. They will be frustrated, says Colin. The Stormers are not good as they used to be. Are they not playing as we expected this season, says Eander. Now kicking for the touchline. Enjoy your casual wear, says Frederick. I enjoy it too. The suit would be very warm on a day like today. So that's why I've gone with the casual attire. Morné Vandenberg, I think he's about to make his way off. I get it, right? But with 3 minutes left, is there any point making that change? Like, it's honestly just for... Oh, no, I think he's staying on. Maybe. I don't think they're going to give Lababalo Dobella a chance here. It's almost missing 11 players, says Steve. Now rolling maul chance. I think that's going to be an advantage, or at least it might be. No. Oh, no, it is the youngster now. Getting the chance. In fact, it's Nico Stain rather than Dobella. My apologies. Ellis Park is a cauldron. So hard to win there. Very frustrating to see Stormers struggling. Still Stormers for life, win or lose. Stormers are disappointing me, says Bryce. And yeah, they've just been lackluster throughout this game, sadly. Penalty goes the way of the Stormers again. 2 minutes remaining. Honestly, as a Lions supporter, anyone out there, take note of this game and know that it's one that they should have got a bonus point in. And if they miss out of the quarters by 1, like, that's why. Because they haven't gone as aggressive. Like, 10-point win. Of course, if the Stormers score now, you could say that 3 points is the difference. But also at the same time, if they had scored again, that would have taken the Stormers completely out anyway. And it would have stopped them from the chance of a bonus point too, possibly, if they had scored enough. But now 90 seconds remaining. Lions over the ball. Do lose the footing. Evan Namani and Sasha and Damien Vlims are all injured at the moment, unfortunately. Now off to the left-hand side. Yuri Matia left that one alone for Warakalant. Now Similani goes off to Niling Fushia. And Morat shouldn't be playing, let alone be captain. I don't even talk about Joseph Dweber. Says Vic, well, Joseph Dweber is not playing in this game, which I guess is half by good for you. But Morat did start, of course. Oh, Similani having a bit of a slip there. Now Paul Devet back across to Andre Hugo Fenta. Not much time remaining now. 45 seconds left on the clock. Back across to the right. Warakalant offloads it through the legs there. De Villiers has space. Caught off the wing. Similani goes to Loader. There's still time on the clock if they can score within 30 seconds. But I think the ball hasn't been dropped. Doesn't matter though because the Lions are over the... No, they don't get that one. My apologies. I thought they had it. Oh, that's a deliberate knockdown from Visachi. And only 15 seconds remaining in regular time. Warakalant has to get it out wide. Taking a few too many seconds and they'll go back. Oh, it would have been play on down the wing. And the Stormers would have had a decent chance of scoring that one. But now 3 seconds remaining on the clock. I just don't think they'll have enough time left. And there is the siren. Right, sounds like we have still got time for one more scrum. Right, I would have called that a deliberate knockdown from Visachi. I think he had his arm extended enough and only got one hand to it rather than two. We've seen them given before. We'll see them given again. Okay, they've just upgraded it to a penalty for a deliberate knock-on. Honestly, like, I don't think he did it in a cynical manner, but it used up the rest of the time on the clock, so it actually worked well for this Lions team. He gives the thumbs up. He says, yep, I'm sorry, but really that's good because now you don't have enough time to get back and get the win. Ref should have given Visachi a yellow or at least a penalty. But yeah, they've eventually gone to that decision. No. Okay, Stormers have decided to go for the 3 here. So this is going to be to get the losing bonus point. If they miss, they don't get that point. If they get it, the Lions will still win. They will get 4 points from this game. Should have been 5, but they will get 4. And the Stormers will get the 1. But Yuri Matia, he's kicked, I think, everything else today. 4 from 4. This one only 23 metres out. Will the pressure of this one get to them? Why didn't they go for the line? If this kick goes over, they still get the losing bonus point. And honestly, that looks like more than they would have got near the start of this game. It does go over from Yuri Matia, and the end score, 30 points to 23. The Lions get 4. The Stormers get the bonus point that the Lions should have had for scoring 4 tries, but they only got the 3. Like I said, remember this game depending on what happens near the end of the season, because that 1 extra point that the Stormers have just secured could also be what helps them in the overall standings. But looking at the way that the table sits right now, as you can see there, the Lions, they will move up to 23 points. Their points differential is looking pretty decent, so they will go right up to 9th place with a game in hand over certain teams and 2 games in hand over some of the others. Then for the Stormers, they also receive the bonus point. So in fact, they will go up to 9th, and the Lions will be 10th, in fact, from this contest. Like they've just said, couple away matches, couple South African derbies as well coming up in the near future. These are the 2 games coming up for these sides. The Bulls will be playing the Lions, and then the week after they will be in action up against the Stormers. So these 2 sides over the next 2 weeks will be going head-to-head with the Vodacom Bulls. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. The next live stream that we have got starting up will be in about 23 minutes time. Player of the match, I'd give it to Morne Vandenberg. I think he was great when it came to that. Oh, no, actually, sorry, Kuan Horn I'd go with. I think that he did enough to get that man of the match award, but the fact that there are multiple guys that could have got it just tells you how well this Lions side did play overall. Your commentary is so much better than some of the South African guys. Thanks so much. Congrats, Lions, who played better. Now to watch the Bulls versus Sharks, I think it will be the Bulls. And yeah, we are going to be live on the channel for that one as well. The Stormers must with the Bulls, and I know they can, says Bryce. And thanks for another awesome live stream, Hamish. Can't wait for the Bulls and the Sharks live stream, says Matthew. Cheers, Hamish and all. Says Studs Ray and there as well. But there are highlights for days from this Lions side in terms of how they were able to score tries till the second half started. They didn't score a single try. They only got 6 points from that second 40 minutes. Whereas the Stormers throughout that second half, I believe, got at least 2 tries. So I think they might have got about 12 points, if not more, throughout that second half. How many did they get in that second half, the Stormers? They got, probably closer to 15, 18 points or something along those lines. And nonetheless, do thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I said, we will be back for the next game between the Bulls and the Sharks. That is happening in around 23 minutes' time is when we are starting the stream, but the match will be kicking off in a little bit later than that, so around 40 minutes' time till the kickoff of that contest. But yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. The try scorers in this contest, there were 3 for the Lions, 2 for the Stormers. And looking at the exact players who scored, we did see Evan Ruiz score the last try of the match for the Stormers. We saw Lombard kicking successfully for the Lions. Same can be said about Yuri Matia. Wada Kalank got a try. And then also the other try came, the 3 tries for the Lions came from Marius Lowe, Henko van Wyk, and also Morne Vandenberg. Yep, Kuan Horn is the man who gets the man of the match for this contest. Great performance from him. And now we look forward to the next South African derby. But yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to hit that like button. And I will see you all for the next one.